All right, welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. Now, a social media chat group used by aspiring Quebec medical students has been flooded with racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic slurs. It's promoting outrage and a criminal complaint by a Jewish doctors group. Over 1,400 members on this group chat. The posts date back to February, went largely unchallenged, raises serious concerns about the presence of such views among future healthcare professionals. Now, B'nai Brith Canada exposed this group chat at the end of last week. It's our pleasure to welcome back to the program Henry Topas, who's the Quebec Regional Director at B'nai Brith Canada. Henry, welcome back to the show.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. So listen, late last week, B'nai Brith Canada publishes some of the stuff that was uncovered here. I'll read a portion of what you released last week, what B'nai Brith Canada released last week. For months, a number of aspiring doctors openly posted Holocaust denial, praise for the final solution, hurled racial slurs, glorified terrorism, and degraded women. And there was more on top of that. So first things first, Hank, how did you get wind? How did B'nai Brith Canada get wind of what was going on here on this Discord group, this group chat?
Well, we first got a call from a mother of an applicant, and she wanted to be anonymous, and she told us about this, and we asked her for some proof. She sent us a few screenshots, and then we got a call from a very reliable student, present medical student, who actually took the time to take many screenshots, which, as you may know, I believe Aaron Durfell exposed that some of these screenshots have been taken down, but we have them, and they are unbelievably horrid. What we put out on our social media and our press release is minimal if you look at the entirety of the horrendous, racist, misogynic, anti-gay, anti-black, anti-Asian, and of course anti-Semitic nonsense that's been posted. And you touched on this morning in your earliest segment, your beginning segment. And the one thing that if I were on that panel, I would have said, why are there no consequences? Mm-hmm. There are no consequences to any kind of racism in this city today, and especially against anti-Semitic hatred.
So let me ask you, because there's 1,400 people apparently a part of this group chat. I think that represents pretty much all students aspiring to go to med school. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think that's the ballpark here. How many people are we talking about were spouting, this horrific stuff out of the 1,400?
There were at least 30 or 40 of them that we were able to tabulate. And some of them, I'll just tell you something, when we were dealing with putting together our media release, one of the things we troubled over was how to translate the French that has been written. And most of it has been written in French slang. There are some English posts, but one of the words that was used was so terrible that we had to just translate it as black people. It was not the word that they use in the French contingent, or the French usage of the word that they did. It was the N-word in French, and we just couldn't believe that.
Where should the consequences come from, Hank? Because I'm looking at this, so they're aspiring students. Should the consequences be coming from where they currently go to school? Should it be criminal? So let's talk about consequences here. Where do those consequences come from?
I believe the first consequence should come from the admissions offices of where they are applying to, and the medical schools of those that are already in attendance. They should toss these people out on their head. They don't have the judgment to be doctors. We look at doctors as people with tremendous judgment. And these people have no judgment.
Are you worried long-term about care in this province? I mean, we've seen stories. You probably saw the story out of Australia, right? With the nurses that, sort of they were gleefully saying that, in their care, they would kill a Jew if they could. So are you worried that this could lead to long-term just bad care in this province if we don't take this seriously?
Worse than bad care. Deliberate danger, putting patients in danger deliberately. If you take that same example from Australia, and if you read some of these posts, it's horrendous.
Are you getting any response here on this? Like higher education, government officials, universities, CJEPs? Are you getting reaction?
Well, the week is young. This went out on Friday. We tried to do it a bit earlier, but we had to be sure legally that what we were putting out met, so to speak, the sniff test of what we can put out. So I presume that this will, hopefully, with assistance of professionals in the media such as yourself, will blow up in their face.
We're with Henry Topas, Quebec Regional Director over at B'nai Brith, Canada. Hank, what I mean, this story here, it's I think it's just a continuation of a lot of things that we've seen for quite some time. But I want to ask you, because obviously there's the anti-Semitic stuff, but it doesn't just stop at anti-Semitism. It's all types of hatred. And I wonder, B'nai Brith Canada is the oldest group in this country that's fighting against hate, right?
That is correct.
How does B'nai Brith Canada view this, not just on its impact on the Jewish community, but everyone else?
Well, again, we are the canary in the coal mine, as you know, and what starts with the Jews does not end with the Jews. And if this kind of hatred is going on, and there is an air of permissibility in this city. If you see what goes on downtown, there is hate speech all over the place, and no one is putting an end to it.
What has to happen?
Consequences. One word, consequences. The judicial system has to take it seriously, and there have to be consequences that any kind of hate against any group, not just Jewish people, any group, hate has to be shut down.
We just had a federal election, and I wonder if you're hoping for maybe a change of tone from Ottawa about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in Canadian society?
Well, we're anxiously looking forward to see who has been given which cabinet post so we know who to speak with. And yes, we're hopeful. We're always hopeful that people who are elected representatives at all levels of government, municipal, provincial, federal, will do the right thing.
Are you going to be keeping track of what happens here with the story and people that you've identified to see if they do in fact get into med school?
We absolutely will be doing that.
Okay. Is there something else we should talk about before I let you go?
I think we've covered it, and we are looking for consequences, and I believe that our desire is the same as all other groups who are subject to hatred. They would like to see the government, to use an expression, grow a pair.
Yeah. Hi, Henry, how you doing emotionally? And you and the Jewish community, how's it going right now?
I would say that we are looking very carefully at what is going on. Very carefully at what is going on. It does not make sense to us, those of us who have grown up post-World War II, to see what is happening now, especially in Montreal.
Hank, thank you so much for coming on the show. I do appreciate your time.
You be well. Bye-bye.
That's Henry Hank Topas. He's Quebec Regional Director over at B'nai Brith, Canada.